Yo. What's the deal? Ooh, I feel like this is too high. Let me turn this down a little bit. That's a little better. I would think. I hope on the other end it's a little better, but it's all good. Anyway, thank y'all for listening and tuning in to the show this morning. This kind of gloomy, not cold, but the clouds are out. It's kind of gray. It's grayish. I guess the sun isn't quite out yet, but it's gonna make its way, through these clouds eventually. So thank y'all for listening and tuning into the show. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm wide awake. I know I sound tired. I know I sound sleepy, but I'm wide awake. I've been up since about a good 3. Damn, that's a whole 5 hours ago. Shit. I've been up since about a good 3 o'clock. Knocked out the gym. Took my time after the gym, like to get ready for work and knock out a few other things. Woke up early and decided to take my time this morning, and not rush it. Right. Typically, I wake up around 3:30. Anyway, I woke up at 3 o'clock, so wide awake at 3 o'clock. So just get up and go to the gym, which is why I was at the gym a little bit earlier than normal. But I decided this morning to take my time. See, it's always a good thing when you take your time towards doing specific stuff, or if you have a little extra time. Just because you have extra time, that does not mean you need to fill it with something, right? If you got extra time, hey, use that extra time to chill, especially if you're that individual who's always moving around, always working, always got business to handle and things like that. If you got 5 extra minutes to sit on your ass and be lazy, hey, do what you got to do, big homie. And this morning I had like about a good like hour and a half to like not do shit and just like sit on my couch, well, lay in my bed really after I showered, watch my little anime episodes, and relax until I get ready for work, because I know work today's gonna be busy because I got a lot of shit to catch up on. Sunday was actually really good, man. I went on a little balloon skydive, a little 007 theme skydive, and oh my gosh, I'm so fucking mad. The jump was actually really, really good. Um, we all had Nerf guns, and my camera was actually attached to my Nerf gun, and I felt like it was very secure. Like before I jumped off and everything, I had duct tape, I had the whole thing. That bitch fell off. As soon as I deployed, pulled my parachute, like I seen it right before I deployed. I'm like, great, I still got it. Pulled it, grabbed my little risers, looked at my gun again, and the shit was gone. I'm like, oh nah, this is not it. But anyway, the jump is actually really good. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It feels good to actually be back in the sky and have some fun. Like I said, that's the one thing within my life that is, no matter what, consistently brings me fun. Consistently brings me joy, peace, way to just forget about certain things. All right. And that's kind of what today's show is going to be about. Just kind of me venting on a few stuff, because there has been certain things that's going on around, and us as guys, well, I don't want to say guys, people, right? People, specifically me, right? We do specific things, or we choose to not do things um in order to allow us to kind of get away from certain stuff that is going on, right? um and one of the things that I normally do always is I just like stuff shit in, right? And it's not like it's anything crazy, but it's just a lot of death, right? It's been a lot of death going on. It's just like weighing down, making me feel very, making my mental not too up to par as normal, right? It's making it exhausting to talk about mental health stuff when there are certain things going around me that's just happening. And it's not like direct folks with me that are dying, but it's just a lot of death. A lot of these deaths get heavy. And I think sometimes when you're dealing around, when you're around all of these things and you have certain stuff going on, you have to make sure you take a break, right? Take your break, take your time off, whether it be from work, whether it be from extracurricular activities, whether it be from people. Do what you got to do to kind of take a break and reset yourself, right? Because if you're not taking a second to reset yourself and and try to just push through, eventually it's going to hit you, right? I'm the guy that's just pushed through. There's a lot of guys, a lot of people that I know, and a lot of people that I grew up with that has just kind of taught me to just like, yo, Willis, just push through. You be all right. And you will. But the older you get, the more, especially if you work in the mental health field, you're around the shit all the time. But the older you get, the more in tune you become with your feelings or with your emotions, and the more you begin to notice how they begin to weigh on you. And the one thing that I've been challenging myself to do this year is not just stuff shit, but actually approach things when they come. And the thing about death is death has always been something that has been hard to talk about, right? Death isn't something that's hard for me to like face, or like I don't cry or like anything like that. It's not something that's like if one person died, it's gonna rock my whole world. Nah, but you know, when you have like 4, 5, 6 people die, you know, that you know of, or that your close homeboy was like a really good, relative of, or like you're around it at work and things like that. Certain things, just the spirit of it, the energy around it begins to get heavy, you know, and that makes things a little bit more somber, if that's the right word to say, right? So it's not as if death is something that is causing me to feel like sad or depressed or anything like that, but just to feel a little bit like muddy, if that makes sense. Feel a little muddy, feel a little dirty, feel like I have like dirty spirits on me. And I feel like I need to do some cleansing, you know, some cleansing, some getting away of certain things and staying away from certain stuff or people, or sometimes taking certain days off from work just to get away and reset and start over. Because we all have to get to a place to where we're able to cleanse ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You know, cleanse your environment, clean up your room, clean out your car, clean up that friends list or that Instagram list, whatever you got to do. We got to cleanse ourselves in many different areas. And, with me being around a lot of not necessarily negative energy, but death, it's the air is kind of thick. Like I said, not thick to the point to where I'm like depressed and sad and all this other shit. Like, nah, my mood is good, but I just feel heavy. Weird thing to say. I mean, weird thing to feel. Because like I said, I'm not at a place to where it's like fuck everything. It's sad, so it's not like super depressed Willis, but just it feel kind of thick right now. The mood and the spirit around me, the energy around me feels kind of thick, and I feel like I need to brush that off for a second. And I think it's important that we all be mindful of the energy, be all be mindful of the spirits, be all be mindful where you're specifically at. Because just because you are feeling okay and just because you are good, that does not mean the spirits around you are positive. That does not mean the spirits that are around you, are conducive to the life that you're trying to live. You know, let's not negate, let's not dismiss, let's not push away those heavy things that are near you, because a lot of the times those things will actually cause you to blow up in other areas. They will cause you to do certain things that you don't like, or go a specific place that you're not really rocking with. That's what that's what these things, or that heaviness, could potentially do, right? That's not to say that those things are going to potentially do to me, but approach them, right? Don't walk away from them. Acknowledge them. Understand that they exist. Understand they exist for a reason. Understand that negative things exist for reasons. Understand it is important to have symptoms. It is important to understand why you need to feel this certain way. Because if you don't have symptoms, if you don't have negative things going on, you're not going to know where you're at. Sometimes being asymptomatic is a dangerous thing. Whether it be from a flu, whether it be from COVID, whether it be from depression, whether it be from mood, whatever it is. Sometimes being asymptomatic is very dangerous because those symptoms will help you know where you're at. And if we don't know where we're at, how are you going to fix it? Right. And for me, it's not like, oh, I have symptoms and like I'm not sleeping and I'm not getting enough rest. Like, nah, I'm going to sleep on time. I'm waking up on time. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to work. Everything is fine. But it's just the mugginess around in the air that I feel. I feel as if there's a spirit of death that's next to me. Right. And I have to kind of get away from that. Right. Get away from that in the sense of like, I need to just cleanse. Because, like I said, there's been a lot of people around me that have been dying. That's making me question certain things. It's making me question like mortality. I always question mortality. I'm a very dark person when it comes to death. I like talking about death. It's not something that I'm scared of. It's not something that I'm scared of or anything like that. But it begins the question around death that has been triggering, or not triggering, but that has been popping up a few times, not a lot of times, but a few times as of late, is make why prevent yourself from doing things if you know you're gonna die, right? Obviously, live your life to the fullest type of thing, but whether it be certain activities, talking to certain people, doing specific stuff, attaining a specific goal, going somewhere, seeing a person, telling the person how much you love them, expressing yourself to this individual, having a child, whatever it is, you don't know when you're going to tap out. You don't know when God is going to be like, hey, yo, it's time to come home, big homie. You don't know any of that. And because we don't know any of that, it's important that a lot of us take those quick seconds to just do shit. Because we can die any day. We can die driving this car. We could die going to work. You could randomly die on some random shit. I don't know. Get smacked by lightning. You can get food poisoning and not make it. There's a lot of different ways you could die. So when it comes to death that is, I guess, around me, one thing that I am trying to make sure I am mindful of is within this spirit or within this space of like death being around me, I want to make sure I do things that I love. I want to make sure I do things that I like, which is consistently going to the gym, which is skydiving more. You know, I want to do certain things that's bringing joy to me. Same with you. Make sure you consistently do things that brings joy to yourself. You have to, because if you're not doing that, you're not living life. You're kind of just going with the flow, going through things. You're just existing. We don't want to exist within life. We want to experience life. Okay. So felt like that show was kind of dark, that bit, but it was a lot of things that I just needed to get off a little bit. But even so, be mindful of those times in which you're feeling good, but you still feel a negative spirit. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Don't feel as if it is something that you should dismiss. Talk to it, approach it, see what it's about, see why it's there, see how long it has been there. Because those spirits, these energies are real. And if you're not mindful of it, they're just going to grow. The second you acknowledge it, that's going to be the second you begin to get through it. All right. So to all most folks that are listening and tuning in and all this good shit, get looking, good looking, good looking. Always remember, y'all, ain't no wealth without your mental health. So please stay blessed. Take care of yourself. Be great, y'all. Peace.